You're watching Palatinate TV.
Hey, Fab. So just a reminder, what's your course and what college are you at?
I'm at Trev's and I'm studying history.
Sort of what relevant experience do you have for the role? How come you decided to run?
Well, I've done a lot in Trev's. I was head prep last year. This is sort of during the whole COVID time. So I've done a lot of problem solving, looking after groups of people. Trev's, we have a huge prep team. It's about 38. They weren't all necessary, but just sort of making sure that they were enjoying themselves, even though we couldn't do any of the social stuff. I haven't actually done that much in terms of the academics. To be fair, I was an intern in Trev's for the enrichment and welfare program, and that was working with college, and that had quite a bit on academics. So I'm changing. Hopefully, I'm changing in Trev's next year the academic parenting system into a college family system because I found that works a lot better. So I've had experience working with sort of academics on a college level. So hopefully I can translate that into a university level.
So what made you decide to run to BUG?
It was a very last minute decision, to be fair. It was on the night. To be truthful, the initial thing was thinking I need to earn a bit of money so I can go off and do my law conversion course. And then the more I sort of started looking at it, the more I thought, well, actually, the SU is so bad, has such a bad image at the moment. It has been so irrelevant throughout my whole studies. I thought, well, there's so much that can actually be changed here. There's so much that actually needs to be, need to have someone say, look, you shouldn't be doing that. And I thought, well, as quite a frank bloke myself, I could stand there and say, what are you doing?
That's great. So is there anything you think you're going to do differently from the current UG academic?
Well, Nyla's done quite well, actually. She's the one that's she's really had an effect, I think, on all of our student life this year, especially and with Sarah. She's the one that's been sorting out all the COVID regulations and the no detriment policy. So actually, my manifesto is running more on keeping her work in place, but moving us towards in-person lectures and stuff, but keeping sort of the no evidence, no evidence extension policy. So I'm not really going against her and her sort of in any way. It's more about sort of building on that so that we can do it in a post-COVID world. Possibly, I'd be, after seeing Leicester and after seeing some of the plans for the decolonisation, I think it's an important policy to have. But I do want to work so that it's not a damaging policy whereby things are eradicated for no reason. I only have experience of history, which is quite modular, and you can choose lots of modules. But that experience is I have done lots of nicely varied modules within it, and I know that the history department's about to start decolonising. I don't want that to be detrimental to the current modules, to the current brilliant modules that we have on offer already. So maybe having a review of that and making sure that it's not too, it does what it needs to do, but not too detrimental.
So you touched on a bit the no detriment policy. It's said that the policy is going to come out today for this year. Is there kind of anything ideal you'd want to be included in that package from the university?
Ooh. Well, it's difficult because it's 2 years. So we'd be going off our first years. And personally, I got a 2-1 in first year, so I'd rather not go off that. But it's stuff like if they combined the 2 years together, went off last year, maybe whichever year is better, maybe take that year as your whole full grade. So it's judging off 2 years of COVID rather than just judging off sort of your experience throughout the COVID period. This isn't making sense. I'm sure Noah's done a good amount with it. And to be fair, I'm not personally sure what you could do with a no detriment policy at the moment. It's more something that I'd have to sit with the staff running it and seeing what their policies are for it, because I'm sure that the university won't be able to just hand out degrees based on first year results.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. So kind of, do you think there's anything missing from the undergraduate experience at Durham?
Lecture capture. for everyone. It's the most basic thing that everyone has at every other university. And I mean, it kind of works in history. Sometimes you'll have a lecturer that uses it, sometimes you don't. Lecturers need to, especially after this year, lecturers need to be trained in how to actually use technology. We're missing sort of basic facilities. But I think something that I'd want to get rid of from the academic experience is group summatives, or just have something that's easier to say. If someone's not pulling their weight, just say a sort of form through which you can say that, because I think they sound, I haven't had them myself, but they sound just horrific. Sound like you can't count on people. You're trying to do work yourself. And so there's a few sort of direct policies that I'd quite like to look into to change, that would just make sense.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Do you, on that subject, kind of going back to lecture capture, do you think the staff and student relationship has been negatively affected by this year? And kind of, if so, how would you take steps to fix this?
I think we're all quite sympathetic with our lecturers. They're certainly trying the hardest to get high quality lectures, and they're the ones sort of as affected as we are, and they're the ones that are struggling to do the same things. I don't think they've had enough support from the university in doing so. So actually, I think the student lecturer relationship has been somewhat strengthened. It's less that we're all in the same boat this year. But if I was going to strengthen it even further, I mean, I've always just wanted to get to know the lecturers a little bit more in general. Just some of them, just in sort of conversation outside of modules. I feel like they've got whilst we're at uni, we should utilise our lecturers not just for getting us through our degrees, but for their wealth of knowledge on a subject that we hopefully enjoy. So I think just more sort of general culture of networking with your lecturers would be quite nice. Maybe some events where you can just stand and have a chat, an average chat that isn't like a meeting, but isn't like a seminar or something, just about the subject, would be quite nice.
Do you think that could kind of be improved via the academic advisors, or do you have any opinions about the academic advisors at the moment?
Well, my opinions are favourable on what they've been doing with COVID, and if as we're getting this no detriment policy in this year, then they've done very well. I think my issues with the SU is not really with the academic advisors. I think they're really the most important people I see in terms of direct relationship with students. What I would change, I'm taking this question a little bit differently, but what I would change in the SU is its focus right now at the moment on things that are important, but things that for most of the student body, we're struggling to even do our work. I don't give a toss about whether some speaker going into a society is allowed or not. I'm trying to get access to the library. I don't care whether, you know, this idea of the SU is just focusing on things that are just seemingly unimportant whilst we're all struggling to actually do our work. That's what I'd change, and trying to change the image of the SU so that it's more relevant to us. I mean, it's difficult because we're a collegiate university. We've got everything that we need in our colleges, so the SU needs to try even harder, really, to keep themselves relevant and to actually impact our working lives.
So, kind of on that note, why do you think people should vote for you?
Because firstly, I respect the democracy. If they vote for me and I get it, I'll don't know. But if they don't vote for me and I don't get in, then I won't try and claim back the position. But they should vote for me because I'm straight speaking. I don't bugger about really. You know, I'm in there to do a job. I'm not in there to sort of try and change the world or change the SU to a dramatic extent. I just want to make it more relevant to us as a student body. And really, I'm someone that is not part of the SU. I haven't done anything with the SU before. I'm an outsider, going in as an outsider, thinking that the SU is an irrelevant body that needs to be made relevant. I know I've said that a few times, but that's kind of the the important thing. It's also about getting. I'll do a bit of my slogan. I think it's my slogan. It's also about getting a bit of value for money in our degrees, because that's what we're all worried about. We're paying £9,000 to have. Well, it's not quite Sunderland where they've got an online Sims campus, but we're pretty much doing open university lectures at the moment. But just getting some more value.
No, that's great. Thank you so much.